What nobody tells you about serving Khorne in Warhammer 40k. They told me Khorne grants strength, that every skull laid at his feet earns glory. I believed them. I thought the blood would set me free, wash away fear, weakness, hesitation, the noise inside my mind. But freedom was the first thing I lost. The battlefield became my temple. Every scream, a prayer. Every strike, a hymn sung in fire and fury. I gave everything until there was nothing left of the man beneath the armor, nothing but the echo of his drums. Now, when the fighting ends and the ground lies still, there is only silence. And in that silence, I hear him breathing, patient, eternal, hungry. It's then I realize he never needed my victory. He only wanted my surrender, and I gave it willingly. The path of glory is a road built on fire, devotion, and the weight of every life taken in his name. We marched as gods among mortals, our armor gleaming, banners tearing in the wind, the ground trembling beneath our feet. I followed Gorthak, my brother in war, my mirror in madness. He moved like a storm, untouchable, unstoppable. I tried to match him, strike for strike, scream for scream, each swing a prayer to the blood god. But with every victory, every skull laid before his throne, the emptiness inside me grew louder. The drums never stopped. They beat in my chest, in my mind, in the silence between breaths. And in that endless rhythm, I began to wonder if the path of glory was never meant for men, but for the God who watches and hungers still. The battle of endless skulls stretches beyond memory, a tide of steel and fire that never relents. Gorthak and I charged together, axes swinging, armor clashing, sparks flying like falling stars in a crimson sky. Every motion was instinct, every roar a hymn to Khorne, every strike a declaration of devotion. I watched the enemy fall, not with triumph, but with a hollow fascination, a grim awareness of what we had become. Victory tastes like iron and ash, fleeting as the smoke that rises from the shattered ground. Even as the drums of war echoed louder, my heart felt emptier than before. And when the battlefield fell silent and the embers glimmered faintly in the dark, I realized the war never ends. For Khorne does not fight for glory. He waits, patient, eternal, for those who dare to call themselves his. The cracks begin quietly, almost imperceptibly, like shadows stretching across a broken world. I stand alone, armor scorched and glowing faintly in the dying light, and feel the weight of all I have done. The victories, the screams, the endless march of war. It all presses down, heavier than any blade. Doubt creeps in where there was once only zeal. I ask myself if the glory I sought was ever real, or just a shadow cast by the blood god's hunger. The drums no longer call with joy. They whisper, relentless, inside my mind. And in the silent moments, I hear the truth. That I am not free. That I am never free. And that the path I walk may have already swallowed the man I once was. Gorthak, my brother in war, fell not to enemy blades, but to the weight of his own devotion. I watched him rage through the battlefield, unstoppable, consumed, a force beyond reason or mercy. Every strike he landed, every motion, echoed with a fury that frightened even me. I could see it, the hollowing, the breaking, the way his eyes burned with a fire that no mortal could contain. And I realized that devotion has a price, and he had already paid it, leaving nothing but a shadow where once there was a man. I stood apart, helpless, awe and horror mingling in my chest, and understood that this is what serving Khorne truly costs. Not glory, not strength, but the soul itself. The duel was inevitable, two brothers in arms, now adversaries beneath the blood-red sky. Gorthak charged with fury, every strike a promise of destruction, every roar a hymn to Khorne. I met him in silence, steel against steel, the world around us collapsing into sparks and smoke. Each clash of our axes rang louder than the drums that haunted my mind, each strike a test of resolve. I felt the weight of every choice I had made, the blood spilled, the lives taken, all crashing down on me in a single instant. And when the dust settled and the echoes faded, I understood victory was meaningless. Khorne does not seek triumph, only obedience, only surrender. And in that truth, I saw my own reflection staring back at me. Then he came, Ulgaroth, herald of the eighth pit, towering and wreathed in fire, silent, eternal. I knelt before him, the circle of glowing sigils at my feet, and felt the weight of a god's gaze pierce through me. No words were spoken, yet every heartbeat screamed with devotion and fear. I trembled, realizing that I had never fought for glory, never sought honor. All I had done, every battle, every strike, every victory, had always been for him. The drums in my mind became louder, deeper, echoing his hunger. And in that moment, I surrendered fully, understanding at last that to serve Khorne is not to fight for power, but to give oneself entirely and willingly. The price of faith is heavier than any armor, sharper than any blade. I feel it now, in every fiber of my being, the fire in my veins, the weight of the crimson energy that courses through me. My body twists, reshapes, yet the man beneath is fading, consumed by what I have offered willingly. I look upon myself and see not a warrior, but a vessel, a shadow of flesh and bone made for his purpose alone. The flames dance across my armor, the smoke curls around me, and I realize there is no turning back. I am his, entirely, utterly, and still. The drums call for more. Faith has a cost, and I have paid it in full. Yet in the silence that follows each battle, I wonder if it was ever mine to give. In the dim ruins, I stand before L998, the servitor whose eyes seem almost human. Its metal mask reflects the faint glow of the fires around us, and for a fleeting moment, I see my own reflection in that cold, silent gaze. I reach out, and the weight of everything I have done presses down, heavier than any armor. I whisper the question I have carried for years. Do you still hear the drums? It nods, as if acknowledging not just the sound, but the inevitability of what I have become. And in that instant, I understand my future. A servant, a vessel, bound to the blood god's will, the echo of his hunger resonating in every heartbeat. There is no turning back, only the path I chose, willingly, completely, eternally. The truth of Khorne is not written in glory, not sung in battle cries, not found in victory. It is whispered in the silence that follows the chaos, in the emptiness left behind when the drums finally fade. I stand atop the dark stones, the wasteland stretching endlessly before me, and feel the weight of all I have sacrificed. No freedom, no triumph, no peace. Only the God who hungers still, patient, eternal, watching me with unseen eyes. I see myself reflected in every ember, every shadow, every echo of the past. And in that moment, I understand. The service was never about power or glory. It was about surrender, complete, unyielding. and everlasting. I gave it all, and still, he hungers.